Welcome to Sacred Success Salon, where you get to discover how to own your power and confidence so you can live your purpose and prosperity. My name is Annakowalska. I am your hostess. And as you guys can tell, I'm in a different setup today. You're probably used to this beautiful background that I have in my office. Today I'm in Palm Springs. I'm recording to you from California. And I made a special arrangement to have this interview while here with our amazing guest today, Acurda. Welcome, Acurda.
Hi, everybody. It's such a pleasure to be here. And Anna, such a pleasure to be here with you. I love the work that you do, and I love the presence that you are here on this planet and the woman that you are and how you shine your light. And so it's an honor for me to be here.
Oh, thank you so much. I love it. Beautiful. Thank you. So let me introduce you, Acurda, to our audience so you guys know why we're talking to Acurda today. So she's a specialist in working with multidimensional aspects of DNA. She teaches people how to access these codes in their holographic blueprints and recode them in order to live into their highest potential, which we speak about a lot. It is her passion to teach people to heal their DNA and show them how to heal destructive DNA patterns from their ancestral lineage, trauma, and disease, and how to recode them for activation and alignment with their wholeness, soul light, mission, and purpose. Oh, music to my heart. She works with holographic body, sacred geometry, Akashic records, crystalline grid system, and other multidimensional realms. Acurda is leading programs on the transformation of the 144 strand DNA for the evolution of humanity. Oh, what a work. What a work. Oh, it's amazing. So I learned about Acurda, just so you guys know, I learned about Acurda from her a series that she did last year. And I was just so taken by the work she's doing and the magic that she brings to bring forth and make it real and tangible in our lives. And then I had a session with her, and there was so much amazingness that happened in it. So as soon as I decided to do this salon, I knew she had to be one of the guests and bring this conversation in. So here we are. Let's talk about DNA. Let's talk about, and I'm just going to unleash you because you are so passionate about this. Why do we need to talk about DNA when we talk about our purpose and mission?
So why I feel DNA is important and why it's important to me is, like, I've studied every healing modality on the planet. I feel I have been in deep jungles. I have meditated with gurus in the Himalayas. I have been to the Dogon tribe in Africa. I have spent 8 years in the indigenous community. I have done everything, and I would feel good for a while, and then that film of everyday living would just start coming up again, and I kept having this question: didn't I deal with this? And it wasn't really until I started working with DNA and actually started finding the programs in my DNA and clearing them and recoding them, did I actually see a real difference, not only in my own energetic field, but when you think about DNA and these programs are like these moments in time where you believed in something that was in direct contradiction to the truth and the divinity of who you are. And we have this beautiful system of an inheritance of, like, we get to go back and claim our power back and become whole and infinite again. And so these programs are just these moments in time where we believe something that wasn't true, and we get to claim them, and we get to have all this power to create within this timeline in the here and now. And when I started working with DNA, the more I claimed of myself through these stories and rewriting these stories, the more my energy, and I started having like a regeneration happening, a conscious regeneration happening in my body. And this conscious regeneration, when this started happening, when I got to that phase, it was like my mission truly unlocked. And I really believe that people get to have and understand a mastery of their energetics for their mission to really unleash, right? Because it's encoded inside of us. And a mission says, when you know your mission and you step to the light of who you are in your mission, this says, I know who I am. I'm light, and I am ready to shine it fully and powerfully into the world. And that's where your mission unlocks, because you need that clarity of light and that power to step out in the world and shine that light and claim that for yourself. Because let's just face it, there's all kinds of stuff going on in the world.
Yeah.
And if you don't have integrity and clarity with the truth of who you are and the light that you are, you can easily be swayed off course. You can easily be told that's not true.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That is so beautiful. It's a conversation I have quite often, that we really need to be present and connected to North Star, which is what I call the purpose, the mission.
Mm-hmm.
But really, it's just the essence that we came here to embody, right? Like in my language, our purpose, our mission is the essence we came here to embody, and then we get to choose what it looks like. And so that conversation we have quite often, if you don't know, if you're not connected to who you truly are, who you came here to be, it's so easy to be pulled by the shiny object, somebody's drama, right?
Yeah, and then going back to, you know, when I talk about programs, again, we talked about how it's these moments in time where we kind of lost power, we believed in something that wasn't true. But these are just frequencies. You know, I assign words to them so that we can talk about them, right? But they're just frequencies. And so these frequencies get played out in your DNA. They organize your DNA, they organize your cellular structure, they organize your chakral system, and then your magnetic field. And so what happens is, if you're carrying a program of lack consciousness or victim perpetrator, right? When you resonate, you have this frequency and it resonates out. It's a lower frequency. And then when you meet somebody who has that same frequency, the pattern plays out. And this is why these patterns keep playing out over and over and over again, so that we can make a different choice. And some of them came from like us, past lives, present lives. Some of them came from our ancestral lineage. And what I mean by that is you, when you came into this world to know yourself, right? Because we realize at a higher level that consciousness is really what it's all about. The love of consciousness, the expansion of consciousness. And so we have given ourselves, nobody gave this to this, nobody decided anything for us. We wanted to be here. We created this body. We created our lessons that we would learn to expand our consciousness. And we chose the parents who have the genetics, who to have all of these frequencies so that we could claim our power back. And when our light comes in at the moment of conception, we reorganize all of those genetics, all of those ancestral memories to claim something. To claim the truth of who we are, the power of who we are. And we chose all of that. There is nothing that has ever been done to us. We have completely chose how we look. Every moment we chose.
I just got such chills about that, because it does resonate. It resonates with me. And so in hand analysis, which is my method of madness to help people know themselves, I see that all the time, no exception, where you have, without going into technology, I prove to people, you've chosen your parents. Like this, your parents are helping you be stronger through learning how to overcome that lesson you came in with. So this is so aligned, so beautiful. And it's like, what I hear through this is we get to claim our power instead of falling into the victim mentality of like, oh, I had a terrible childhood, my parents this, my parents that, right? And the leaders that we get to work with, they know that we have to shift out of that victim mentality. Didn't happen to you, it's not happening to you. You've chosen it. Who do you get to be? Wow, this is so powerful. So let's say, how would we know? And I had this conversation. I want to hear your perspective on it. Does it even matter? And if it does, how would we know? Is it like ancestral pattern that we are reliving? Is it our time to shift it? Why, like, or is it something that I have chosen that's new, brand new this lifetime for me? And does it even matter?
Well, there's a lot of ways to answer that question. And, you know, again, we're here to claim the truth of who we are. And I use the term creator gods. You know, I feel that our divinity, we came in with the ability to shift time and space, to create matter, to create ourselves. We have the power to completely create ourselves and our genetics. And this is what, you know, my programs are about. And what I'm witnessing now is that through consciousness, we are completely redesigning ourselves, which I call the universal human, you know, and there's an evolution of our soul light, right? That we chose to come into this body, which is matter. And we are now changing, as our evolutionary process, our body into light. so that we can keep receiving more and more light, so that we can create with. And this is truly our ascension process. Now, whether we came in from, we had moments in this life where we believed something wasn't true, or in a past life, right? The ancestral stuff is always a part of either our past or present. Otherwise, we don't have a frequency in our soul, the resonance of our soul, to pick that story up. But also, you know, as these things are playing out, they can be blocks. Like I said, these patterns play out, and then we get sidetracked, right? But there's also the ability, and this is what I'm truly focused on now, is that, you know, outside of these stories that we've been having for, you know, millions of years or hundreds of thousands of years, these archetypal stories, there's a new genetics that's coming online, and I call it the genetic, the light of lineage, or I'm sorry, the new lineage of light. Okay, and we're rewriting our DNA for a new light genetics. And these will be ones that don't have these archetypal stories in it. And if they do, we get to choose them, and we can flip them when we want, and we can move them into higher dimensional access of the types of being that we want to be, and where we want to create ourself in, right? Because it's all about creation. So you're choosing all of this stuff so that you can keep claiming more and more and more of yourself, right?
Yes.
And you're choosing this stuff so that you can witness yourself as a creator God, that you are a complete alchemist in the universe, not only of yourself and your consciousness, but everything around you.
Oh, yes.
So I'm not quite sure if that answered your question, but
no,
you know, I just, for me, it's like, those are stories that we need. Yes, we can shift, and we can claim back, and we can claim our energy back. But there's also this story that's without that, which is clear power, clear love and light. And, you know, when we talk about the fifth dimension, 5D, it is a unity consciousness, right? 3D, 4D are just frequencies that we're picking up. And that, you know, when our lower strands of DNA are clear, the DNA are like these antennas that are picking up these frequency. And the clarity of the antenna, right, is we pull that frequency in, and we harmonize, and we resonate with it. And then we get to live it. But when we're not in resonance, or we have those lower frequencies, we start having that ping pong back and forth feeling, because light is bouncing back, you know, into the denser levels, right? And we feel that sometimes, and you know, when we're about to have that shift, we have that, like, almost that feeling of anxiety, or, you know, you can feel it happening. It's like literally the light is coming in, and it's shining and ping ponging into these places, so that it's starting to raise the frequency up. It's like literally moving through, light is moving through the density, and it's like uplifting it for us to, like, move through.
Yeah, I could just listen to this for hours, literally, because there's just so much that is there to, like, whoa. And I know that some of our audience would be like, oh yeah, I get that, right? And I know there are some of our audience that's like, okay, that's a little bit more than I am, than I can grasp. So I'm just gonna, like, rewind a little bit, because I get it, and I love it. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. So what I'm hearing is it really, we are moving into the human dimension, where we will get to choose if we want to keep the stories or not. Doesn't matter even where they came from. One question that I want to ask you about that before I get into the light part is, because that's so beautiful, sometimes I get people asking questions like, you know, is this something I attracted to learn? So it's this pattern mirror, right? And sometimes I hear people even get stuck in it. Oh, the situation doesn't serve me. I attracted with this pattern that I have inside of me, right? They don't say that, but that's what happens. I attracted this person or situation, and I don't know, should I stay in it for as long as I learn my lesson, or is this something I can clear up and move on? Which one should I do? And it's this kind of almost like powerlessness in that situation. To that person, what would you say to that person who asks that question, and somewhere in the back of their mind, they don't even know, but they're moving towards that fifth dimension, which is why they're asking that question?
I would go in and explore their DNA with them, and to see where and what the pattern is that is of this lower frequency that is bringing this in. And then we would look into the story. Is it a present life situation? Did you pick this up from early childhood? Is it from a past life? Or is it from your ancestral heritage, which is showing you a lineage of this through your genetics, right? Yeah. And then I would explore that with them and figure out what the story is. Okay, so when we go into the genetics, the DNA, there's always a story that wants to be told. There's a point that needs to be heard, so it can be witnessed and released. Okay, and when you witness it, you change it. And that's really where I feel the transformation happens, is through the witnessing of the truth of who we are and what we're carrying and the stories that we're carrying. And the rewriting is just claiming a new story for yourself after that. But it's almost like we get to balance out the polarity, right? Yeah. And so we start over here, and then we tell the story over here, right? Yeah. And then the two start weaving together like DNA, and there's a new energy that's rebirthed. And this is really the new energy, the new truth of who we are outside of either of these. Because neither one of them, in our truth, neither one can be polarized.
Wow. I don't think I've ever heard anybody explain it this way, the way you just said it. There is a story, and I just want to repeat it so you guys watching us can hear it. The reason why there may be a pattern is because there is a story that hasn't been witnessed. And it may be your story that happened this lifetime. It may be a story of an ancestor. It may be a story from a past lifetime. It hasn't been witnessed, so it's still living in a DNA. Am I getting that right? Yeah. And once it is witnessed, heard, spoken, it can be transformed. The only reason why it's there is because it hasn't been witnessed.
Exactly.
Oh, wow. Exactly. That is so powerful. That is so powerful. So thank you for that. This is so amazing. And I just love the whole idea that, and I love how you explain this, right? That once it is heard, we get to recode the DNA with whatever is next.
Yeah. And so I usually recode the DNA with spectrums of light, right? Because the DNA, the first 4 layers or strands of DNA are this rainbow iridescent, right? Because they are creating our chakral system, they're creating our body. And so we start bringing in spectrums of light that are missing from that strand of DNA that are corresponding to the energy center. So when we have a story of lack or loss of power or a victimization or whatever, usually that stuff comes through the 3rd energy center, right? And you see that there's a loss of power in a person not being able to really claim their identity, not being able to follow through with things that they really want to create in the world. They start to lose their steam, get distracted. These are all 3rd energy types of issues, but they're actually in the DNA, and this is just the resonant frequency that's coming out through the chakral system. So you meet other people that are, again, then the story plays out. So.
And by third center, you mean the solar plexus?
The solar plexus.
Yeah. Powerful. Yes. Yeah. So beautiful. And that's why you need 3rd people to play it out with you.
And then we use specific geometries to help reform the cellular structures or to uphold certain types of stories or new archetypes. Right? Yeah. Geometries are super powerful, and even though we see them as a geometric shape, they're really a light and a frequency. And so that frequency, as we program it in, changes the frequency of the cellular system and the DNA. And so then, as it communicates, because it's a vibrational sound and a light, it starts communicating to every cell in your body to up level into this frequency. Right? Yeah. This is what we've been talking about, raising our frequency all the time.
Yes.
Because we really are light, we really are vibration, we really are geometry. Everything that we're creating in ourselves and in physical matter is layers and layers of geometry with, the elements.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I love that.
And we're just being conscious are energetically conscious now with what we're building and how we're building.
Yeah, I love that. Can we speak for a moment into the urgency, and then I want to see if you're kind enough to guide us through an experience. But first, I want you to just say a couple sentences. The urgency of why now. Why is it so important right now that we really face our patterns, that we recode our DNA, that we open up to the more light coming in?
Let me just see what wants to come through.
Yeah.
I don't think the time frame of now is so important, but that this is the only thing. It has always been the only thing. We've just allowed illusion on top of illusion to steer us into other directions where we thought those things were important. But this has always been the most important thing. Cultivating your soul light, the embodiment of your soul light has always been the most important thing. But why now?
Yeah.
Because there are so many shifts that are happening, and we're set up right now for a complete new lineage of light, and that just, it's like all for humanity, but also not only for Earth, but for all of the multiverse and the universe. All the planets, when you look at the different systems of the planets, I mean, they're lining up to create extra energy here for this.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for presencing it, because we are witnessing that there are more and more people having this conversation, right? I mean,
yeah,
these conversations, I'm sure to some degree were happening, 100 years ago, but right now there are more of us having them. And so the sense of urgency, and the reason why I talk about sense of urgency is because because I am so committed to people living their purpose, their mission, allowing more light in, right? Living their soul light. I love how you say that. And I love that you brought in that it isn't just about us, and there are planetary alignments happening right now, right? Helping us create that. So it is like, if time exists, it is a moment in time when we have extra support for that to happen with easier maybe than it would have happened a while ago.
Yeah. And I also think, and this goes into like the technology piece, is that we really needed the internet to be born, so that we could start witnessing that our consciousness could move at almost as fast as the speed of light. And the internet has actually been training our consciousness to move at a much higher speed, at the speed of light. And this is something that we also needed in order to witness and start building our own telepathic powers. We have gifts that are our birthright, and this is, telepathy is one of them. And it's like, most of the people that I know, it's like we communicate telepathically because we're used to this system of movement of light super fast. So we've been slowly creating this for ourselves, and we continue to create this for ourselves. And as we are sitting here now, in the now, we are programming the future, which will be the now at some point.
Yes.
For me, I'm programming a lineage of light through DNA.
Oh, this is so powerful and so beautiful. I could just keep hearing this over and over again, because the truth of it just like gives me goosebumps the whole entire time. So would you mind generously leading us through an experience so we can, because I know there are many of our viewers who have no idea what recoding DNA means. At this level.
Well, I think because the DNA recoding is, I think, a little bit longer than we have time for, but I would love to leave everybody with a moment of truth of who they are.
Oh, yes, I can hear.
Yeah.
Yes.
So go ahead and close your eyes and just inhale and exhale. Trusting our higher selves to co-create the highest frequency outcome of love and light, not only for ourselves, but for all of humanity and the universal consciousness. And so I want you to visualize deep in your chest, there's a tunnel, and there's this beautiful, bright, glowing, golden light, your original source of light, the one that is always whole and perfected, illuminated, the one that is the truth and the witness to all that is in this chamber in the heart. And you're going to start to see every cell in your body moving into light, like little drops of light just opening up everywhere in your body with your original source light. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just trust yourself. You are an infinite being with infinite power. And from the top of your head to the tips of your fingers, all the way to your toes, visualize your whole body engulfed in your original soul light. Breathing deeper into the body, relaxing more and more into your truth as light. Asking our chakral system to come in balance and alignment. Just ask. And the right and left hemispheres of the body coming into balance and alignment. And the right and left hemispheres of the brain coming into balance and alignment. And the crown of the head opening with a beautiful white light. And again, just visioning your soul light permeating your entire being. This light is the truth of who we are. And this is where we get to give and receive love from, create from. And this light is our birthright, and it is our divinity. And the expression of this soul light is your birthright. And to claim this now. And really nothing else is true. When you're ready, you can slowly start to open your eyes.
So beautiful.
Mm.
Oh, whoa. Give me 1 sec. Oh, and you guys watching us, you can come back and do this again. What a powerful experience. At the very end, I felt this like this funnel from my heart, just like, whew.
So when we really start working with, again, the mastery of our energetics, and especially with the heart frequency, because the heart frequency really controls these fields around us of what we can receive, okay? And also the velocity at which the heart pumps, right, is actually the rate at which our DNA braids. And so it's at the rate at which light can move through our DNA and program our cellular structure. And so when you really understand the mastery of energetics, there are all these different types of geometries that are creating us, and we're creating. And there's a lot of power in that.
Oh, this was so beautiful. Thank you. So generous. Thank you, Acurda.
Thank you, Anna.
Oh, amazing.
It's a pleasure.
Yes. So I know you have a gift for our viewers. Would you share with us what it is?
Yes. So through my website landing page, I'm offering a ancestral DNA clearing and recoding, where we go into the first 2 strands of DNA, because when I talked about the lower 4 strands, right? The first strand is about genetics. The second one is ancestral stories. The third one is direct to past lives. And then the fourth one is our present life situation. And then the fifth is unity consciousness, is 5D.
Okay.
And so I'm getting a clearing of the first 2 strands from some ancestral stories. I believe that one is about like the oppressor-oppressed energy that ran through a lot of our ancestral lines.
Yes. Yeah. And we actually having conversation about that in the salon, the generational oppression that we get to clear. So this is so perfect. Oh, and we get to experience with your gift, what does it look like when you, and feel like, really, what does it look like when we do get to play with clearing the DNA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just how powerful it is, and what we can truly create. This is an opportunity for people to witness themselves creating themselves.
Wow.
And to put your consciousness there, and to stop giving it out to the external world, because this changes everything. Our consciousness, and this is what science is finding out right now, and this is the beauty of what's happening in the quantum field and through scientists, is that our consciousness is changing everything, and we're witnessing it.
Yeah. And it's really one thing to say that, and I know you live it. So this is really, I'm speaking to those of us who are like really getting it, that our consciousness creates everything around us, right? That's where we get to give up the victimhood of this is happening to me, or why is this happening to me, right? Yeah. And really claim that we created it, like we get to create something else with that. Yeah. So generous. You guys, the button below this video, you know the drill. Click the button, get the gift, and you'll get to play and experience what it's like to have to clear your DNA. And then if you want more, you'll be in Acurda's world, and you can get a most powerful session. It really, I remember ours. It was probably about a year ago, and it was just amazing. Like as you were doing this, as you were guiding us to the experience right now, I had a memory of like the light of the DNA strand that we worked with, and it was this beautiful light purple. Oh, it's amazing. You guys watching, I highly recommend that you claim the gift from Acurda, have fun with it, experience it, and then get to find out what else is possible when you get to work with your DNA in Acurda's world. So really amazing. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you so much. And you are an exceptional human being and a light on this planet. And I adore and love you. And I am proud to call you sister and light being and galactic human, because this is what we are moving into, is becoming a galactic human, where we're not even witnessing that the earth is our responsibility, but the whole planetary system is our responsibility, and that we get to make choices and decisions that are in alignment with this light.
Yeah. So powerful. So powerful. Wow. Yes. And claiming our responsibility for it. Yeah. Whew. So I do have a closing question, really quick closing question, Acurda.
Yes.
Since we are recoding, I'm using your words, we are recoding what success is in our lives. What does success for the world look like for you?
You know, I was just talking with a friend last night, and I think that we get to give up the idea of peace on earth, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And we get to have the idea that peace is singularly, and that we get to develop our own peace. Because I feel like every time that we keep saying, you know, oh, the world needs to be in peace, or this needs this, we're throwing our energy out.
Mm-hmm.
And really, the only thing that we can do is claim it for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, this is every moment living in integrity and sovereignty with my soul light, and being in full passion and love for everything that I do. That's all I have.
Wow. I am so moved by that.
Yeah.
That
And
is so beautiful.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we think about the whole, it becomes too big. And I don't think that that's what it's all about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Focus on, if you're looking for world peace, focus on being peace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I know there are so many people who pray for a world peace with their heart wide open, really intending pure intention. Yet there are parts of them that are not peaceful,
Yeah.
parts of
And
their
I think
lives that are not
that
peaceful.
is
Yeah,
really, truly, if we can only claim it for ourselves.
yeah, yeah. Same goes for world hunger. This just came in. Same goes for world hunger. We're trying to solve world hunger when parts of ourselves, such as the part of us that maybe is begging for more light, right?
Mm-hmm.
Starving for more
Yeah.
light.
And also with hunger, and I invite everybody to take a look at this, is like, you know, we have really created energy systems that are parasitic, and we've been feeding off of each other energy wise. And you know, in a relationship, one person is the giver, one person is the taker,
Mm-hmm.
right? But in the fifth dimension, we all recognize that we're sovereign and that we're creating our own energy with source.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you have two people come together who have those that consciousness, we create an energy together.
Yeah.
And therefore we create more energy. There's no more a transfer back and forth or a feeding.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just love for everybody just to take a look at the energetics that are happening inside of us, that we are witnessing out in the world, because they are a direct reflection of what is happening inside of us. It's not anybody else's problem. It's not anybody. It is what is happening inside of us. It's being reflected in large amounts of collective consciousness on this planet.
Mm-hmm. Wow. What an amazing, amazing way to wrap up our beautiful interview. Wow. Yes, I love it. Thank you, Acurda. You've just been such a gift. Thank you for your wisdom.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being the channel for all that wanted to come through you, and it did so beautifully. Yeah, thank you. And you guys, make sure you go back, have the experience that we just did, do it again and again, claim the gift below, play with the DNA strands, get into Acurda's world so you can really get to know what it's like to live a life when your DNA is completely recoded to who you truly really are, so you can live your purpose and mission. And see you at the next conversation.